Heard of him?
Once or twice.
He had 21 saves last night
Okay.
in the shutout of Chicago.
Okay.
Was that the easiest shutout you've ever seen from old Saros? Was that the easiest shutout he's ever had?
So what you're asking me to do is remember all of the shutouts UC Saros has had.
I'm sure you remember them all, right?
You know, on some level, I remember him playing well quite often, but I don't know. It looked like a pretty easy one to me. You know, he talked a lot after the game about how he stays mentally sharp and ready when you have a game like that where there's not a lot of action on your end of the ice. You know, aside from having to worry about a pesky Connor Bedard, it probably was one of the easier shutouts I've seen.
Yeah, that's right. I think it is definitely the easiest shutout that Saros has ever had, but not the easiest shutout that the Nashville Predators have ever had. Because if you remember, several years ago, I believe in his Vezina Trophy year, Pekka Rinne had a shutout of the Chicago Blackhawks in which after the game, he said, I think that was the easiest shutout I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I brought that up. But yeah, I think it was 2018. No, you know what? It wasn't the Vezina year. It was the year after that.
Okay.
It was the 18-19 year.
Okay.
And he said that because I remember that because it was when I was with A to Z Sports, and he said that, and boy, a lot of Blackhawks fans did not like that.
Really?
Oh, they were cheesed off.
Cheesed off. You know, they don't get too upset very easily, those Blackhawks fans. I've never really run afoul of them in any specific way.
Right. No, they were very mad about him saying that. So I'm kind of glad Saros didn't have to say that because he didn't have a lot of people coming after him.
Yeah.
You know, saying, how could you say that?
Yeah.
So, no, he was, I'm sure he would say, what's good game? You know.
It was a good game.
What's good game?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about last night. Well, actually, before we talk about the Chicago game, can I just say real quick, we went on a, I say we, it was really just me, but went on a little road trip up to Washington to see the Predators beat the Capitals in a shootout. Askarov got his first win.
Crazy.
And we were able to cover that from the road. So we, thanks to the folks at Truvo Sports Laundry who helped fund us for that and sent us on the trip up there. I'll tell you what, Sean, if you had come with me, we probably would have had an interesting time staying in a 150-square-foot hotel room.
I think you're right. You showed me a picture of that hotel room, and I was like, well, there's not a lot of room for modesty in there.
Nope, not a lot of room for anything. No. We would probably have to have two hotel rooms. But anyways, it was a really fun experience getting to cover the team on the road. I think there's a little bit of a different atmosphere when you meet the team on the road, when you see them there. You know, they look at you strange like, why are you here?
What are you doing?
And then also you kind of get a little different side. I was going to say this, like when I talked to Brunette before the game, this is like 2 hours before the game. He's a little looser.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit kind of, a little bit more chatty.
Yeah.
There were a couple other guys down in the room there, I guess because Brunette knows them from I don't know if he played with them or they were coaches of his or whatever.
From a hockey life.
From a hockey life that he's led.
Right.
And he was real chatty with them. I mean, it worked. I mean, the team was trying to pull him away and was like he wanted to keep talking. You know,
wow.
It was strange. Yeah, it was a different Brunette.
Well, we're used to covering the team here, and here everybody's surrounded by their familiar surroundings.
Right.
You get them outside a little bit, and it's
here
a little bit. Yeah.
He has his office. He's in his office. He comes out to do press. He goes to talk his team. He goes back into his office.
Yeah.
There, it felt a little bit more like, yeah, I'm on a trip here. You know.
Yeah. Time to talk to. You ever have an office, Alex?
Yeah, I've had an office before.
Yeah, I've never had an office.
So that was that, and it was a lot of fun. Hopefully, you enjoyed our coverage. We put out a video about it. You can check that out on Penalty Box Radio, all the socials and everything. But let's talk about the Chicago game. You were there.
I was there.
What was the result?
Well, first thing I want to say, this game stayed 1-0 for an incredibly, I'd say, impressively long amount of time.
Yeah.
I don't think it should have been a 1-0 game. I easily saw opportunities for that game to be like 4-0, by the time the second period was over. But miraculously, and I do use the word miraculously here, and I mean it, it stayed 1-0. There are a lot of other opportunities I saw where the Predators had a chance to just bury some goals that random, sticks or skates got in the way and kept it from happening. But the Predators ended up winning 3-0, and really, I say 1-0 for a long time. The Hawks go down to a 5-on-3 situation right toward the end of the game. Ryan O'Reilly buries one on a nice little feed from Nyquist, and puts them up 2-0, and then empty net goal from Luke Evangelista, which was. Did you know this was there was an assist on that goal? Do you know who got the assist?
Was it Luke Shin?
It was the Luke to Luke connection.
That's
Luke
right.
Shin to Luke Evangelista, and he puts it away.
Well earned.
Makes it a 3-0 game.
So yeah, it was. I'll tell you what, that was not a fun game to watch. I'll be honest. I mean, if that was your first game ever watching hockey, well, if it was your first time ever watching hockey, you probably didn't notice that it was not a very good game. You probably were enamored by the speed of the sport. But if you were like even a casual hockey fan and you tuned in last night or were there, you might have been like, this is pretty boring. Yeah. Not a lot's happening. They went up 1-0 and it was just a slugfest, right?
It should have been a runaway,
Yeah. But there was one thing that happened that I thought was pretty interesting, and I tweeted about this after the game, and that has to do with old Connor Bedard.
Really?
So last night in the game, Connor Bedard obviously is their best player. He's their best, at least their best young player. He's their best player. And he was not only held shotless, but held shot attemptless. So he had in that game, let me just pulling it up. Okay, so he finished with 0 points. 0 shots, 0 shot attempts, 0 expected goals. So in other words, even I mean, obviously he didn't have any expected goals, he didn't have any shot attempts, but 1 giveaway, 0 takeaways. He wasn't taking the puck away from anybody, and he got hit twice. And that's in even strength time, so like not during power plays. He had a couple shot attempts in power plays, but that's different. But at even strength, that man couldn't do anything.
No. And I remember really early, I tweeted about the fact that Lauzon laid one of those hits on him, and it was
a patented Lauzon hit.
It was, I believe, he's leading the NHL in hits.
That's what I've heard.
And I'll tell you, it was like, hey, you may be the new kid on the block, but I am the hit leader in this league, and I'm going to put it to you real quick.
He learned about hits from going to that Taylor Swift concert. She has a lot of hits.
But did he go to a Taylor Swift concert?
You don't remember this? No, from the video. It was his top.
I thought you meant Bedard.
Oh, no. Lauzon.
Oh, yeah. That was the highlight of his
year.
Lauzon's
highlight of his 2023 was going to the Taylor Swift concert.
That was an event.
And that woman knows something about hits. That was the joke. But,
okay, I get it now. Okay. I'm sorry. Not on the same page, joke-wise.
That's okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's a great credit to how they prepared for that game. They knew that Connor Bedard was the one to zero in on. He's had a great season. He's a really great young talent. I mean, like not even a shot attempt for the guy. That's pretty crazy. I mean, you would think that he would have gotten a couple off, but no, they shut him down. So that's good to see.
It was impressive, and I mean, talking to the team afterwards, they kind of prepared for that. It wasn't like he was the central focus of everything, but definitely aware he's out there. Definitely wanted to neutralize him, and quite honestly, if you look at the rest of that lineup last night, there's not a lot of other stuff you really needed to prepare for out there. It was pretty rough.
Pretty rough. Who was their defenseman that you were talking about?
So I don't know if you remember this, Alex. This is a lot farther back than Jeremy Lauzon's Taylor Swift concert experience. But there used to be a defender for the Predators a couple of seasons ago named Jared Tenorti. And he was
Jared Tenorti.
Just not a lot of fans. I don't think he sold a lot of jerseys.
Before Luke Shin, before Matt Irwin. No, but not before Matt Irwin. After Matt Irwin. There was Jared
Tenorti.
Yeah.
And people complained about
Ben Harper, too. There's another one.
People complained a lot, Alex. I don't know if you remember about the fact that Tenorti was even getting ice time, and he was there last night playing for the Blackhawks.
That's right.
That's how low their stores of players.
The other thing that happened, Will Levis was in attendance, quarterback of the Titans.
That was big.
And we had a tweet that did really well on that.
That was a good tweet.
His best protection since he's been in town. So there you go. We're going to talk a lot more about a couple different things as we go on. After the break, I want to play some audio of a conversation I had with Dante Fabbro. I'll give it some context first because there's been a weird kind of strange thing going on with Fabbro that I've kind of observed that I'm kind of confused about. I'm going to get your take as well, Sean.
Okay.
And then later on, we're going to talk about the hottest Predator on the team, Gustav Nyquist.
Yes.
We're going to talk about him, too.
Excited.
So stay tuned for that. Oh, yeah, sorry. But before that, Nashville, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, look no further than Salas Realty Group. Salas is not just about property, they're about people. They build long-lasting relationships that are about you, your needs, and your dreams. Salas Realty Group stands for trust, transparency, community, and they're committed to making a positive impact in Middle Tennessee, one home at a time. Ready to make a move? Visit Salas Realty Group, S-A-L-L-I-S, Salas Realty Group, and experience real estate the Salas way. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio Live. Don't forget to text the show. If you're out there and you want to say something about the Preds, maybe you made an observation in a game, maybe you got something to say about, an upcoming trade opportunity or something like that, just give us a text, 615-737-1025. Text us and we'll talk about it. But first we're going to talk about Dante Fabro. So I don't know if you noticed this, Sean, but there was kind of this strange thing happening with Fabro where he was getting scratched, right?
Right.
He's getting scratched a lot. Now, the defense is in this really strange place right now because we talked about that last show. They got like basically 8 guys that could play, and some guys are they got guys in Milwaukee that could play. Then they had the injuries, and then they had Tyson Barrie basically wanting it to be traded away. But all the while, I mean, my perception has been that Dante Fabro has been one of the better players.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think even last year I had commented at how well he was playing.
Yeah.
Again, you go back to why he's gotten a lot of criticism, at least from the fans, and it's he's done all of his development at the NHL level.
Yeah.
I mean, he came straight from college, literally no AHL time, straight to the NHL, right before the playoffs. I mean, college.
You said NFL, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Maybe. Never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
But he came straight from college, straight to the NHL. And did all of his development at that level. So any little mistakes, it's a lot of eyes watching, as opposed to you don't see the mistakes that people are making for the most part at the AHL level. So a lot of criticism early on, but I think he's really developed into a really solid defender.
I think the main issue with Fabro recently has been he hasn't been able to get out there because he's been scratched, and so I think he's played the last 3 or 4 games in a row. But there was a time where he was getting scratched a lot that I thought was really odd, because what I was hearing from Brunette, asking Brunette specifically about Fabro, was how much they love his game.
Right.
So he was talking about Fabro as if he was like a really top defenseman on the team, and he's like a great young talent. They love him. They think he's perfect for the fit, which we know Brunette's not just blowing smoke here, because he called out Tyson Barrie, for saying that he wasn't very good, right?
Right.
So we know that he can be discerning and be honest about how he's thinking about players. So I actually had a conversation with Dante Fabro about this recently. Okay. I wanted to ask him about where he's at with his game and what he feels like, where he's at, and asked him about also, the coaches talking to him, and I think he has a pretty interesting measured response. So here's a couple questions from me at practice talking to him. It's a little loud. It's a locker room, so there's a little bit of background noise, but hopefully you can hear it. So here it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a competitor, you want to be playing all the time, and you want to be out there. I think it's tough sometimes when the guys are rolling, and you might not want to change the lineup and stuff like that. And look, I get it, and we have a great decor here, and a lot of really good guys. I think we all want to pull the same rope. We all want to do really well. So again, I've kind of said it all. All I can do really is just be prepared every night, and if I'm in, and just try and stay in the lineup. I think. Hopefully I've done that so far, and I got to continue to do that. I know it's a lot of work to do, but I think if you just take the approach of trying to get better every day and trying to help your team win in any aspect you can, I think that's important.
In talking with Bruno, it sounds like he really likes your game. I mean, every time we've asked him about it, he's been very complimentary of your speed, your ability, and everything. Do you get the same sort of feedback from the coaches, like on your end?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to them, and I don't need to be paraded around or anything like that, and I get it. I mean, it's hard decisions he's got to make, and all I can do is be a great teammate and be a great person in this locker room and work as hard as I can. I think days I'm not playing, I think what I can provide is to push guys on the ice and to try and get better. And so the days I am playing is whatever I can do to get out there and help our team win. I think it's so important to look at kind of both sides of everything, and like I said, just every day is different. Just find new ways to get better and different ways to get better.
Has there been kind of an adjustment period for kind of fitting into Bruno's offense and kind of the idea of getting the puck up quick, transitioning to offense and everything, which seems like point-wise you're tracking better than last year in terms of your offensive production. Has there been an adjustment period for you in that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the way we play is how I've always played. I think, I try to play at least. You can get away from it with habits throughout the year, getting tired and whatnot, but I felt that I've always looked at myself as a puck-moving first defenseman, and I think our system allows us to do that and transition the puck quickly. And we got a great mix of forwards and guys who can grind and can also have a lot of skill and put pucks in the net. So I think any chance you can put your forwards in a good spot going up the ice is huge, and I think it really helps our momentum swings and whatnot, and allowing zone entries and whatnot. So. Yeah, I mean, I just try to focus on moving the puck as quick as possible and trying to be that support valve up the ice.
Yeah, so that's Dante Fabro talking about several things, really, and I really liked his analysis of how his game really does fit Bruno's game, and I think that's the core of why the coaching staff likes him.
He's a good puck mover.
He's a good puck mover, getting the puck up the ice. I mean, that's so crucial to the Brunette system. As there's little to no defensive regroup. It is. As soon as you get your puck, you get your head up and you get that puck up the ice. There's not a lot of D-to-D passing. Or at least minimal. And it is about getting those, as he said, getting the forwards in the right position to succeed, right? But the part about, I thought he was really level-headed in terms of his, like, I don't need to be paraded around. I don't need to be praised and everything. I just want to play. But I think he's in a good place right now, and I think that's surprising to me. I guess maybe it's because he's played more recently, but, I mean, if I had been in his position, you're getting told by the coaches, as he said there, that you're doing well, that they really like you, that you're speed, but then you're getting benched. I mean, how are you supposed to take that?
Okay, I'm going to say two things.
Okay.
One, he said it's important to see both sides. So clearly there's another side to this, and he's aware of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems to accept it. Meanwhile, he continues to work on being the best player he can, the best teammate he can, and helping to put the team in the best position to win as he can when he's on the ice, and, of course, practicing and getting better off the ice. But he also said he doesn't need to be paraded around, and he doesn't need to be praised. That seems very pointed.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's saying there's somebody that does need to be paraded around.
I had a feeling that's where you're going with that. I don't think that's what he's doing.
I don't know. Why
else
else would you bring that up?
Let's talk about it, because I think it's pretty clear that the Tyson Barrie situation is what's causing all this, right?
Oh, I'd have to agree with you, Alex.
I mean, that's why they needed to have Barrie play, because he's got to be on display for people to trade for him. But at the same time, they are going to trade him. He's not going to be on the team for a while, or for long.
Yeah.
Fabro is obviously younger and probably playing better than him right now. I'm a little surprised that Fabro hasn't got any of the power play time. They went with McDonough instead, but that's not, we can't complain about that. I mean, it's weird though. Let's just kind of chalk it up to say it's the Barrie thing. I mean, I think that's fair.
I would agree. I think it is the Barrie thing. Again, the fine line is you need him to play because you need people to see that he's playing and that he can play, but you also don't want to risk him getting injured, and then you're just stuck.
We have one texter that says this is Fabro is not playing because Trotz made the mistake of signing Luke Schenn. I mean, there's some truth to that. I mean, we've talked a lot about the Luke Schenn signing.
Yeah,
still didn't make a lot of sense.
Well,
look, he's been better.
Yeah.
Would you say he's been better?
Better than
Luke Schenn of January 2024 has been better than the Luke Schenn of
December 2023. Yes, I agree. He had a point.
Exactly.
He had a point. He's producing. He's currently this month. Is he a point per game player?
Right. There you go. Ooh, yeah. No,
one of the best on the team.
It's a great point, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I think Fabro is. The situation with the moving forward, even though we're talking about defense.
That was another joke.
Dante Fabro is an RFA, and in the summer, this coming summer, Alex Carrier, his forever partner in this whole roster situation, is a UFA, being 27. I mean, if I'm going to choose between them, I'm choosing Dante Fabro.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's number one. You don't have to worry about other teams and negotiating a salary, and you're probably going to get them cheaper.
So you think it's as simple as that? Tyson Barrie's gone, and they let Alex Carrier walk, or they try to trade Carrier maybe to a contending team at the end of the trade deadline? Maybe
it's a possibility.
He's got some good qualities. He's a good. He's pretty good on the penalty kill. His numbers on the penalty kill are all right.
Yeah, and he has quarterbacked a power play before.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Some experience with that.
I think it would be a depth move. I mean, you wouldn't get much for him.
No.
6th-round pick.
Well, maybe a 5th.
Maybe a 5th. Yeah, I think that's all you
get.
get. But Fabro, I think you get more because the RFA status.
Oh, sure.
A little bit better play this year, maybe.
Exclusive negotiating rights.
Less of an injury
huge.
History.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, too.
Yeah, less of an injury history. I mean, injury history. I don't think the injury history for Alex Carrier is anything to worry about. I mean, the dude, broke his clavicle or something?
Well, I mean, it happens. Clavicles break.
Yeah, they do. I hope mine never breaks. All right, so we're going to talk about Gustav Nyquist coming up next. The hottest Nashville Predator in town right now. Top-line winger Gustav Nyquist. So we're going to cover that when we come back. Thanks for listening to Penalty Box Radio.
And as we look ahead to the next Predator Showdown, it's the perfect time to plan your future in Nashville. Salas Realty Group is ready to assist, ensuring your real estate goals are met with the determination of a playoff chase. Visit salasrealtygroup.com and let's start mapping out your game plan. Salas Realty Group, where every closing is a championship victory.
And welcome back to Penalty Box Radio Live. Join the Nashville Spartans, the hockey sensation of the city. Experience those thrilling games and family-friendly fun and unity. Visit NashvilleSpartansHockey.com/tickets. Their next game, by the way, is January 19th against Cincinnati. But you got to use this promo code PBR50 for an exclusive 50% discount when checking out. Don't miss the excitement. Be a part of Spartans hockey today. We are getting superstitious up in here.
I'm very superstitious. Writing is on the wall. Here's the thing.
What kind of writing?
Well, probably cursive. I don't know.
They don't teach that anymore.
Well, I mean,
I don't teach that anymore.
Uh-oh. Old man Doherty's here.
Hey, some clouds need to be yelled at.
All right. Speaking of clouds that need to be yelled about,
Yes.
not yelled at. We used to have Tommy Time where we talked about Tommy Novak.
Yeah.
But
We
right now,
haven't done that in a while.
well, we haven't, and that's a shame. But I don't know that this works alliteratively as well as Tommy Time. But it's time for Gus Chat.
Ooh, little Gus Chat action.
Gus Chat when we talk about Gustav Nyquist. And I'm really excited about this today. First off, just a couple of things. There's been a lot of buzz about Gus Nyquist.
Okay.
A lot of people are talking. You hear a lot of the other people that cover this team, fans that are watching the games. Nyquist is on a hot streak. Couple of important stats here on the season so far: 9 goals, 20 assists. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And 11 points in the last 10 games. He's on a heater, Alex.
Ooh.
He's on a heater. So I wanted to look into this a little bit more.
All right.
I was very curious, and there was a lot of talk after the game last night because last night, of course, 2 points for Nyquist, a goal, and a really beautiful assist on on that second goal there by O'Reilly. But every player that we talked to after the game, except for UC Saros, was asked about Gus Nyquist, even Gus Nyquist himself. Okay.
What did he have to say about himself?
Do you want me to start with what Nyquist said about himself? Because
let's start with from the source. Let's start with the primary
he's
source.
Modest. He's a modest man.
Well, he's Swedish, so that's kind of their thing.
For the most part, you're right. Okay. So he says, I'm playing with 2 great players. This is not in his voice, by the way. This is mine.
This is not.
We've been building chemistry all year. It's been nice to be together for a long time. That helps with consistency, and just anticipation where we're going to be on the ice. That's what he said. A lot of credit was given to the other guys on his line, which of course is Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg. Now, do you want to know? We also talked to O'Reilly. Would you like to hear what he had to say?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. Here's what O'Reilly said about being on a line with Gus Nyquist. What he's doing, it's effective to help us win. He's so fun to play with. The little plays he makes, the way he skates, he just creates. He's so fun to play with. I think we've done a good job. He makes it so easy out there just by his reads and the way he handles the puck. And then he was asked, do you think that he's underrated? And he said, seeing it every day and playing on a line with him, I absolutely agree with you. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does out there. It's so effective in making me look better.
This is O'Reilly.
That's O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Making me look better than I am. That's a lot of praise.
Yeah, definitely.
But
what about, did you get Bruno?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're getting there.
Well, we've got Roman Josi.
I do not want to jump the gun.
He's the captain of the team, Alex.
I know
what
that.
he has to say is important. I think we should probably hear from him. All right. He's playing great. I feel like he's been playing great the whole year. He's so good on the power plays. He's very patient with the puck. He makes some great plays. He's a really good leader in the locker room.
Okay.
Okay. Now, are you ready for
Bruno?
Bruno himself?
Let's hear it.
He's had tremendous puck poise. He's been great. Great. That line's carried us through all kinds of different things and carried the power play, and they did it again tonight. I thought it was a huge goal to make it 2-0. But Gus has been just a cerebral player that everybody on the team wants to play with and wants to be around, and we're lucky to have him. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of praise.
Yeah. I mean, that happens when you got a player that's on a tear like him, but I think a lot of it's pretty earned.
Oh, yeah.
He's an interesting player because in a lot of ways I think he's similar to a Nino Niederreiter from last year.
Sure.
Not as big, not doesn't do the same exact things, but like I think people just like playing with players that are really well-rounded. And
Sure.
I think he's got that. He has a lot of great skill in the offensive zone. I think he's a good passer, good vision. He has he doesn't really have an edge to his game like Niederreiter did, but I think he's got enough of like enough of a willingness to go into the corners to fight for pucks that I think it doesn't really matter. So he's never going to be that net front guy. He's going to be like more of a finisher, more of a playmaker kind, which really works because O'Reilly and Forsberg, obviously mix it up in front of the net enough. Right. They do all that. So, and that's why you've seen Nyquist get so many kind of rebound chances and right. little chances when he's on the backside and can finish those. So yeah, it's been great to see.
Well, and there's a couple of things that really stand out to me here. And it's funny because when you think about somebody that's on a hot streak and somebody that's really impacting the game and impacting the team as much as he has been recently, especially, these are the words that jump out at me. Puck poise, cerebral, right?
Yeah.
Patient.
From the cerebellum.
Yeah. But, I mean, in the word patient, right?
Yeah,
What we're saying here, he's being praised not for he scores goals but he makes goals happen. He's good at setting guys up. Right. He's good at reading the angles. He's got a high hockey IQ, as we've heard people say before. Right?
Yeah. So you may have already said this. I can't remember, but did you already say that he's passed his point total from last year?
Well, I was about to get there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Here's what's interesting.
Forget what I just said. Sean, has he passed his point total from last year?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, and it's interesting. I just did a little research. There is a graphic up on the game last night that talked about where this line was, Nyquist, O'Reilly, and Forsberg at this point in the season versus where they ended last season, which is interesting. All three players had shortened seasons due to injury. So Nyquist now has 29 points in 38 games, currently on pace for 62 points. Last season he ended with 27.
27, yeah.
With
27 and 51, yeah.
And in 51 games. So it's really interesting that he's already eclipsed that now.
Yeah.
The other thing, O'Reilly and Forsberg are kind of on the same situation. Interestingly, O'Reilly has 32 points in 38 games.
And do you know who he played with last year? I just looked this up.
Who did he play with last year?
Last year he played with Boone Jenner and mostly with Jack Roslovic and Johnny Gaudreau. So he was not playing with scrubs last year.
No.
He was playing with good players. Boone Jenner's a great forward. I mean, Boone Jenner's probably the Columbus best forward. I mean, he's playing with good players last year and has been better this year. So it's not just that he's been surrounded by – so to your point, it's not just that Forsberg and O'Reilly are lifting him up.
Right.
It's that he's complimenting them well.
Yes. I think you're looking at a situation where you've got these players that all have, really strong, well-rounded skill sets, I think. And they're complementing each other really well. They're playing for each other. They're enjoying playing with each other. I won't go into the pace and everything, but here's what's been interesting to me. And this may be more of a brunette system type situation, but I looked at their individual high danger chances for.
Okay.
It means how many high danger chances did they get?
Yeah.
A high danger chance, Alex, how would you describe that?
Anything in kind of the low slot to medium slot and kind of inside the circles, like really like the place where you really expect a goal to happen.
Yeah.
A medium danger would be like you kind of expect a goal to happen, and a low danger would be like you're not really expecting a goal to happen.
But if you have a lot of high danger chances for, that says that you're getting into the position you need to be in to score goals. You're getting set up for those goals, and these guys, all of interesting right here. Nyquist currently at 36. Last year he finished with 48.
Ooh,
he's almost there.
Wow.
O'Reilly, listen to this. Currently 65. Last season 59. He's already eclipsed that. Forsberg this season at 59. Last season ended with 67.
Wow.
So total, they currently, as the three of them, have 160 high danger chances for.
Yeah.
Last season, a total of 176.
So basically, it's been working a charm the first 38 games or whatever it is.
It is in a system that's focused on scoring and getting forwards in the right position to score. Seems to be doing really well for these three players.
Okay, so what happens, Sean, when Gustav Nyquist doesn't produce at the same level. Do we still think that pairing should be together? So right now he's shooting at 11.8%, which is like right at his average. So like he's not overproducing there. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. But what happens when he goes through a slump, maybe like a 4 or 5 gamer where he doesn't get a point, he's not shooting well, and he doesn't get any goals here? Do they panic and say bump him down and put someone like a Tomasino up or someone? I mean, do you think that happens? Do you think they freak out and say it's not working anymore, we need to move on?
I don't. After this much productivity, I don't think they necessarily pull the plug after 3 or 4 games. I think if it were 5, 6, 7, you might start seeing some movement. I don't know how Brunette does. I don't know how he shuffles his lines, especially when you have a very distinct top line that's doing well. That's something where he's necessarily willing to jump ship immediately.
Got it.
Now we know previous coaches that would be, 1 game, no points, you're going to the 4th line. But in this situation, I'm curious how Brunette would treat that situation. So.
Yeah, well, we don't have to hope that happens or anything, but you never know. Things can get fluid. You rarely have like a Jofa situation where you got 3 guys playing well all year and it just sticks. You just don't see that very often.
Right.
And I'll be honest, when they put Nyquist on the top line. Remember who started on the top line with them?
It's Parsonen, wasn't
Juuso
it?
Parsonen.
Yeah.
When they moved Nyquist up there, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but it clearly has paid off and it's working well, and they've figured out that. They know that line works. As long as it's continuing to produce at like over a point per game, they're going to keep it together. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good to see. So we're going to preview the next couple games coming up for the Nashville Predators, and then we're going to do everyone's favorite, the 3-on-3 draft. That's going to be a fun one for next segment, so stick around.
The show's almost over, but your real estate journey is just beginning. With Salis Realty Group, you're always on the winning team. Their dedication to clients is as relentless as Preds on a power play. Lace up for your real estate play at SalisRealtyGroup.com. Salis Realty Group, where every deal is a hat trick.
Most recent tweet. Milky Bets. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Penalty Box Radio Live. We are here concluding our show with a little bit of Billy Idol.
It's a nice day, Alex.
Well, it's not going to be a nice day for the Calgary Flames because they have to take on the Nashville Predators tomorrow.
The red-hot Nashville Predators?
Here in Nashville. The Flames are surprisingly bad.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I just kind of always expect the Flames to be pretty good. I mean, they usually have a pretty good squad, and they're just not very good right now.
Because it's a Canadian team?
No, they have they're not like awful, but then they're not like great. I mean, they've been really good the last few years. I mean, they've had a weird turnover with their coaching changes and trades and all that stuff. So
I was expecting them to be better this season as well.
Yeah, I mean, Nazem Kadri's not as good. I mean, that's not surprising. He had a crazy run there, but Jacob Markstrom, pretty good goalie, not great.
Yeah.
Their leading goal scorer is Blake Coleman.
Yeah.
32-year-old Blake Coleman.
Everybody saw that one coming, right?
I mean, I do like Mackenzie Weegar. I like Sharon Govich. Elias Lindholm's going to get traded. Don't know where. I mean, they're just surprisingly bad. But they always play Nashville well. That's tomorrow night in Bridgestone Arena. Then Saturday, the Predators head to Dallas to take on the Fighting Matt Duchene's.
Oh.
Saturday, January 6th. Tuesday.
Did you know that Matt Duchene, that's actually a nickname? His real name is Matthew.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Hey, things you didn't know before the show. Now you know.
Stuff today.
The next Tuesday, they take on the Anaheim Ducks. That's the next 3 games until our next show, which is next Wednesday. Where do they need to go from here? They need to win all 3 of these?
They should win all 3 of these.
I don't know if they can count on a win at Dallas.
I think they should win at Dallas. I think they have to prove a point in Dallas.
Are you one of those that just thinks they need to win every game?
Well, no. Here's my thing.
Oh, wait, because the way the Dallas game went last time?
Right.
Okay.
And I think they've got a point to prove here.
Yeah.
There's some separation between first, second, third, and then of course between third and fourth in the Central. And I think beating some of those teams that are ahead of them kind of makes a big statement. But yeah, the way the last game ended, they have a point to prove here.
Yeah, don't watch that one again if you're
no.
If you remember how that ended, it was not good. No. So I think there's a lot of things going well with the team right now. I mean, they hit that little skid and they kind of recovered from it, right? I mean, it seems like they moved past that. I think we didn't really talk about this, but they really escaped from Washington with that win. I mean, that was a really close call on that goaltender interference.
Yeah.
Could have seen that going either way.
Oh, yeah.
It was not an easy call. And for them to call it a goal and still overturn it.
That was huge.
I mean, I was ready to, because I was in the bowels of Capital One Arena, just ready to find something to talk about with and then all of a sudden they're like, we're taking it off the board, and then, the rest is history. But so, I mean, they barely get that win, and then they obviously beat Chicago, who's pretty terrible. But
not a good Chicago team.
Calgary would be a pretty important win to just go ahead and keep it going. If you lose at Dallas, not as big of a deal. But then you got to beat Anaheim next Tuesday.
But if you lose to Dallas, you need the other 2 games 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Beating Dallas makes a statement, in my opinion.
Speaking of statements.
Oh.
This has nothing to do with statements, but
okay.
We're going to finish off with our segment, the 3-on-3 draft. So if you don't remember, this is where Sean and I draft something, and it doesn't. Sometimes it's a thing. Sometimes it's a word. Sometimes it's a place. Sometimes it's a movie.
This is very specific.
Today we are drafting embarrassing high school obsessions.
Oh, boy.
So we are going to talk a lot about the things that we did in high school that we do not like to think about anymore. But we're doing that for you, the listener, because you want to hear about these things.
We assume.
Embarrassing high school obsessions. We have been obsessing over this topic for the last couple days as we prepared for it. And I'm going to give you the first pick, Sean. I don't remember if you had the first pick last time, but I need to do something. And so I need you to take the first pick.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. And I'm going to be honest. I feel like, especially my junior and senior year in high school, I feel like I was pretty cool. Like, I mean, look, I was on the academic team. Actually, I was the captain of the academic team my senior year. So what did I really do that was embarrassing? I had to think back to the early years of high school, to my freshman year. And when you're a freshman, really, you should still be in middle school. It's no secret that you don't have any right being in a high school amongst older kids. But there I was, and I feel like I needed to do something to kind of distinguish myself from the pack. And I decided the best way to do that was to joke constantly about yaks, goats,
Oh my god!
and cheese.
Wait.
Yeah,
So
that was my shtick.
You
freshman
so
year.
okay. So you had a shtick that had to
was-
do with those three things.
Yeah,
Boy, that is embarrassing.
it is embarrassing.
What in the world?
I don't
What-
know.
That is very strange.
Yeah, I
That's a good one.
remember going through a drive-through with my mom driving, of course, because I was a freshman and I shouldn't have been allowed around cars, much less driving one. And we got to the drive-through window, and the girl working there was like in art class with me, and she was an upperclassman, and she's like, "Oh, the cheese guy's here," and my mom was
Oh,
like,
God.
"What?" And I'm like, yeah, cheese or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. That's a good pick because I'm
Yeah.
having some serious embarrassment for you on that
yeah.
one. But wait to hear mine. So this is my number one pick, and it's very easy for me to pick this because
Okay.
every time I think about this part of my life, I think about all the ridiculous things that I did. But we all get obsessed over certain kinds of music or maybe certain bands.
Okay.
For about 2 years of my life, I was the world's most annoying and well-known fan of the Dave Matthews Band.
There's
Let
no
me-
way.
Let me explain how deep this goes because not only did I have every studio album,
Whoa.
and I had entire CD wallets. I had an entire CD wallet that was just Dave Matthews stuff, and then I had another one that was like other music. But I had a Dave Matthews Band one
Right.
with all the bootlegged stuff from the Red
man.
Rock Secret Show and all that
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
It was wild. I also had airbrushed T-shirts that said Dave Matthews Band that I got when I was down in Florida.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're talking some serious obsession.
Wow.
And then after about 2 years, I was done.
You know what's funny about the Dave Matthews Band? If you take the initials, right,
DMB.
and you add U to it, it's dumb.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay.
It's pretty good.
All right. Speaking of embarrassing
That was
moments, you
pretty
just
good.
had another one.
Okay. All right.
All right. What's your second pick?
Okay. So again, I feel like I was pretty cool, but at the time it was like 95.
I thought you had a visual for.
I
one of
do.
these. Oh, okay. All right,
I do.
Okay.
It's right here in my hot little hand. 1995. Everybody, we wanted to grow our hair out long.
Yeah.
Right. And the only way to do it was to shave the sides and back of your head, right, and just let it grow. Part it down the middle. We called it a butt bowl.
Oh yeah. I remember this.
But mine, and this isn't a time before Eminem, right?
Okay.
This is pre-Marshall Mathers. I wanted to dye it really light. Like I almost wanted to dye it white. So
Okay.
that was my hair, and I brought this visual here.
Oh wow!
I
Look
don't know
at
if
that.
Yeah, look at that one.
We'll put that up on our social
Yeah.
to show everybody.
The,
That is one heck of a haircut.
the butt bowl.
That's amazing.
That was a good one.
That's a really good one. Okay,
It was for the ladies.
my second one. I'm just gonna put. I always write these down. I'm just put Sean's hair. That's what I'm gonna put.
Butt
Okay.
bowl.
Butt bowl. Okay, my second pick is also something I'm obsessed with. But the only qualification is I don't know that this qualifies as an obsession because it was pretty brief.
Okay.
But there was an entire summer where I played a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Oh my.
I was big into Magic the Gathering for just a summer. And then as soon as I went back to school, I was like, oh, wait, I don't like this game, actually. I don't care about this.
Oh,
And then I never did it again. I mean, since I've like kind of thought about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I see the cards at like Target or whatever.
Right.
But man, for a whole summer, I was a big Magic player. I played with my friends in the neighborhood. I was like, oh, I got this sweet mana card, all that stuff. There you go. That's my second pick.
Again,
Magic the Gathering fan.
I don't know about that stuff because I was pretty cool in high school.
Okay, all right.
Also, I don't know if that was out when I was in high school. So, for my final thing, we're going to go back to freshman year, and this is really bad. That's why I saved it for last. I'd kind of gone through this experience where we moved to Kentucky when I was in 7th grade from the Bay Area of California. I loved rap music, gangsta rap music.
Okay.
And I was the only one in that entire school, and people made fun of me for it constantly. And I was like, I'm going to find something else that I can really get into, that I can make my own. And I chose a music style.
Everclear.
Nope.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No hard drinking in high school.
I was talking about the band, but all right.
Okay. So I went with reggae. Now, I want to point out that I had no clue at that age
No
what went along with reggae, but I bought some Bob Marley albums, and I was like, I need to give myself a nickname. So I gave myself the nickname. Are you ready for this?
How is this not your number one pick?
This is my number one pick. The Cool King of Reggae. That's what I want my nickname to be.
Sean, that's so much worse than any of your other
Yeah,
picks.
I know.
Oh my gosh. That's
know.
amazing.
I know.
Oh,
It's
man.
okay.
I mean, reggae's cool and everything, but I
No.
can't lie. I did have a reggae moment in college, but I was more of like a serious. I was listening to like Toots and the Maytals, and I was really into like the really good reggae. I wasn't listening to like. I'm not saying that my reggae moment was any better than yours.
No one's is, Alex.
Yeah, I didn't give myself a name. That's for sure. Okay, my last one real quick, then we got to wrap up. My last one is visors. I wore a visor in high school. Remember visors?
Yeah.
They were like definitely a fashion choice.
Oh, man.
Boy, I was really into visors. So my three, Dave Matthews Band, visors, and Magic the Gathering. Yours was yaks, goats, cheese.
The Dyed White Butt Bowl and the Cool King of Reggae.
Okay. Can you tell us who wins?
I'm going to have to go with Sean here.
Yes!
Yeah, I think Sean wins.
Yes. That's two in
I
a
mean,
row.
the reggae alone is just, I think that takes it. I think that wins you the whole thing. That's amazing.
That was a late edition.
Love it. Oh, that was a late edition. Okay.
I blocked that one out.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Penalty Box Radio Live. We love talking to you every week about the Nashville Predators and reggae moments from our lives. We're all, as always, presented by Salas Realty Group. Salas Realty Group, your premier destination for Nashville, Tennessee real estate. And we're brought to you by the Nashville Spartans, the Nashville's one and only junior hockey team based in Nolensville. And we will see everybody next week, January 10th. That's our next show. Stay tuned and listen to more reggae as usual.
From the Cool King of Reggae.